Hello and thank you for joining us tonight. My name is Tom Lehman, PGA Tour Champions Professional and one of the original Elevate Phoenix founders. On behalf of my beautiful wife, Melissa, my wonderful family, and all of Elevate Phoenix, we say good evening. I'd like to personally welcome you to the 4th annual Elevate Phoenix Invitational and our first ever virtual fundraiser. Although our format is a little different this year, we're excited to bring our amazing program safely into your homes. Even though we may not be together in person, we're happy that you are still able to join us tonight. So think of tonight as an enjoyable break on the pressures of election night eve. And regardless of how you vote, one thing we can all agree on is that we want a better and brighter future for our Elevate Phoenix kids. If you've been impacted or feel that you have been inconvenienced in any way by COVID-19, just imagine what our students are experiencing. Tonight, you'll learn about just a few of the hundreds of transformations our students go through each year, and by getting involved tonight, you'll play a large part in their continued progress. It is not too late to text or call your friends and family right now to be a part of our evening as we are live coast to coast for the next hour. There is no charge to get registered, but you must be logged in to be eligible to win one of our many giveaways and to interact with us throughout the program. So sit back, grab your favorite beverage, your snack, and get ready for a fun-filled experience that you'll never forget. I might advise you to keep a tissue handy as you'll be sure to laugh, to cry, but most of all, to feel inspired. I'd like to take this moment to thank our title sponsor, Dr. Brian Gawley and Dr. Heather St. Peter of Gawley Plastic Surgery. This incredible husband-wife team was introduced to us at last year's invitation by one of our many board members. The Gawleys took the time to learn more about Elevate Phoenix and have since become one of our strongest advocates, including being this year's title sponsor. We are so grateful. Thank you very, very much. And thank you to longtime executive board member Mike Tope, the CEO and owner of CBR, for being our technology sponsor. And another huge thank you to a great friend of mine, Foster Fries, and his wife Lynn, who has so generously chose to invest in us as our curriculum sponsor. We're also so grateful to all of our top sponsors and donors. Ray Barton of Great Clips, Uncle's Tony Day, which is Anthony Criscione, Tony Montgomery of Morgan Stanley, Michael and Joanna Peebles, the Tarabi family, the Niederman Family Foundation, Mark Candelaria of Candelaria Design, thank you, the Lenhart Family Foundation, Dana and Kelly Wundenberg of Trench Shore Rentals and Authentic Wine Cellars, Billy and Mary Castrivas of CDI LLC, the Patterson Foundation. To all of you, thank you so much. It truly does take a village of everyone I've just mentioned, and all of you who graciously took time out of your lives tonight to join us. So have a wonderful time. I know I will.
Thank you so much, Tom. I'm Letitia Fry, your auction tainer tonight, and welcome to the first ever virtual Elevate Phoenix Invitational. That's right. It's such a pleasure to be here with you tonight, and I've done a lot of these since last April. So if you're new to this, welcome, because you're going to have an amazing hour. So one of the things I want to start you off with is the best way to enjoy the upcoming hour. So for one, for those of you that are hosting your watch parties right now, thank you. Thanks for safe social distancing and bringing your favorite friends and family together in support of Elevate Phoenix, especially on this most important night here in the United States. So here's another thing I want you to know. Tom told you it's not too late to register for free. And I'm actually going to give some things away tonight simply for doing that. So if you want to register, remember, it's elevate2020.givesmart.com. Again, that's elevate2020.givesmart.com. Register for free now, and you might get a chance to win, well, a special something coming up on Saturday. It's hard to believe it's been 30 years since the Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles first came out. And Bobby Herback, I know you're out there watching. Thank you for that, because although this was supposed to be a celebration of a re-digitized original version and out in Comic-Con and all those places that we would have gathered in 2020, well, this year had other plans, but that didn't stop Bobby. So 4 of you are going to win tonight simply for registering and going this Saturday to Desert Ridge to see the original, remastered, and meet and greet with Bobby and get a lot of swag. I'll be announcing that towards the end of the show. What else? Well, you're out there at those watch parties. How about tagging us on social media, like Facebook, or going on Instagram, or 2020, well, hashtag 2020 Elevate on Instagram, and at Elevate Phoenix AZ on Facebook. If you actually tag us just for doing that, you can win a foursome of golf at the Phoenix Country Club. That's right. That's where we'll actually host our 4th annual Charles Schwab Invitational that's happening, even though we can only do it without fans. And next year, we'll be back in full force, guaranteed. So a couple couple other things. If you're actually watching this, kind of make this a 2-device night, even though you can technically bid on one. Maybe you're still at the office and you're all huddled over a PC or a laptop. Get your friends on their phones. It's the best ways to watch so many exciting moments that you're going to be coming up, and actually bid off your phone. Remember, I'm giving things away. Now, I can't do what I usually do, those of you that know me, like 1,000, you go to 15, not 2, not 25, you go to 3, not 35. We'll get to that next year. In the meantime, I actually just talk you through them. We have 5 incredible highlighted items that I should be doing that for, but instead, we decided not only just to end them tonight, let's go all the way through Friday. Look, there's a lot of uncertainty and stress in the air, so why not give it a little more time? Because you could really end up in a Zoom session with Condoleezza Rice or Shane Doan or Tom Lehman. Really cool stuff. I'll be walking through all of those here tonight. What else is going on? You're going to meet some amazing children and hear how Elevate Phoenix transformed their lives and put their dreams into reality and help them in far more ways than just their school. You're going to be able to give a 100% tax-deductible gift to our Fund a Need section. And again, this show is going to be recorded and you can share this link out, that elevate2020.givesmart.com, all the way going through this Friday, the 6th of November at 5 p.m. Mountain Time. Arizona, we don't change our clocks. So now we're on Mountain Time, and if you go to Facebook Live, there's going to be another drawing, free, just for anyone that participates in the Fund a Need. You get a chance at a foursome of golf at the Biltmore. That's right, golf is considered safe social distancing, and one sport that's been a key to people actually having a great, healthy time during COVID-19. So, now you know how to do it. A couple other things we've learned. It's about my 43rd virtual since April. Figured out that if you're on Internet Explorer right now, don't do that, because it puts the stream at the bottom and everything else above us. Go on Firefox, Google Chrome, Safari, and you'll enjoy it so much better. If you're like me and you have teenagers at home, they can probably airdrop this in your TV if you can't figure it out. And if you're at a watch party, again, thank you, but make sure you're registered as well, because I can guarantee you, having seen what you're going to see coming up, you're going to actually probably do exactly what Tom said. Grab a tissue, laugh a little, cry a little, but most importantly, support the kids of Elevate Phoenix. So now let's turn to a man that knows a thing or two about just how impactful this program is. Let's meet the superintendent of Phoenix Union High School District, well, Chad Justin.
We are extremely proud to continue our partnership with Elevate Phoenix. Phoenix Union has been partnering with Elevate for many, many years. We began our journey together at Cesar Chavez High School. Then during my time at Camelback High School, when I was principal there, we brought the partnership to Camelback, and very recently, we're very proud to announce that we have expanded Elevate to our 3rd school at Maryvale High School. And what's so unique about our partnership with Elevate is that it's truly a partnership, that we walk hand in hand and shoulder to shoulder to select the right staff and the right students and the right opportunities. Elevate, as we all very well know, identifies, again with the partnership with the school, students that are not on track to graduate, students that need more love and more support and more wraparound services. And when a student gets engaged in Elevate, they become a part of a family and a part of a network, and are engaged with mentors that are committed to full wraparound support and 24/7 accessibility. It's one of the most unique parts about the programming at Elevate is that the employees of Elevate, the teachers and the mentors are committed, not just as a job. It's not 9 to 5, it's not 40 hours a week, but it's a full 24/7, 365 commitment, and it changes lives. Many of the students, I remember at Camelback High School in particular, were students that were identified because statistically and in many ways in reality, they were not on track to graduate. There was no way without a dramatic change in their life would they graduate from high school, let alone go on to college and let alone graduate from college. But because of the relationships and the commitment and the support of Elevate, many students, at least during my time at Camelback, but also Chavez and soon to be at Maryville, many students not only graduated from high school, went on to become mentors for students in the elementary school pattern, went on to college, and didn't just go to college, they graduated and are now back working in our communities, working at Elevate and changing lives of other individuals. And we're extremely grateful for our partnership, very committed to the future of our partnership with Elevate Phoenix, and want to thank all of those involved for your ongoing support and commitment.
You know, I've been asked many times, why Elevate Phoenix? You know, Tom, why are you involved with Elevate Phoenix? And really the story goes back to the fact that I've been a professional golfer my entire adult life. I graduated from college in 1982, and I've been playing professional golf ever since. You know, and as my success increased and as my notoriety increased and the ability to be influential in our communities increased, I was hit with just many opportunities to get involved with a lot of really great different things, and which is what I did. You know, I found myself at some point, though, being really stretched. You know, you're a mile wide and an inch deep. I was involved with so many things, but just barely. And yet, while there were so many great things to be involved with, I was extremely dissatisfied with the fact that I wasn't just the other way around, which would be an inch wide and a mile deep. I wanted to be really into something. And one of the things that I was involved with was mentoring. And I was involved with a program with mentoring. It was a typical mentoring program where an adult was matched up with a kid somewhere, and maybe for a couple hours a week, he'd spend the time with them, and the kid was oftentimes, you know, home alone or with one parent in prison. There's something really kind of not so good at home. And so the mentoring program was significant, but it always left me feeling empty. You know, empty because 2 hours a week was great, but there has to be, you know, what happens the rest of the time? What happens to all the other hours of the week when the mentor is no longer around? And so I actually wrote down on a piece of paper, what would the perfect mentoring program look like? Well, one day Keith Stazer called me, a friend of mine. He says, you got to meet this guy, Bob Barbie, he's moved here from Denver. He has this really cool program. He wants to share it with you. And so I sat down and watched this video about an organization called Colorado Uplift, which was really the flagship, what became Elevate Phoenix. And what it was basically a mentoring program on steroids where the teacher mentors are with kids 365 days a year, 24 hours a day. They live life with these kids. So rather than just being 2 hours a week, it was 24 hours a day on call, 365 days a year. And the results were amazing. And the results being this: transformed lives, changed lives, lives that seemingly had very little hope, lives that had very little opportunity, lives where the kids would not believe in anything that they had. They believed they had no abilities, they had no talents. They basically were quitting, and yet through the mentorship of an adult, lives are being transformed. And so I saw this program as something like, this is what I want to be involved with. I want to be involved with this because it makes such a huge difference in the lives of kids. And so since the beginning, which has been 10 years now, every board meeting, we'd have kids come and share their stories. And every board meeting, I would leave so inspired. I would cry, I would laugh, because these kids and what they have come through, the things they've had to experience, the things they've had to live with, the way they've had to just conduct their lives and the difficulty that they had, and now seeing this on the other side, the hope, the opportunity, the joy, because of their lives being transformed. So that's why I'm involved. I've seen a lot of things in my life, as you have as well, and when you find something that works, you jump on board with both feet. And so that's what I've done. An inch wide, a mile deep with Elevate Phoenix. And so don't take my word for it. You know, you're going to see some amazing videos tonight of transformational stories. One is a young guy named Manny Nieto. His video will make you cry. It's such a powerful, triumphant story. Let's look at it.
So my name is Manny Nieto. In middle school, I transferred to a new school where I went from being someone cool, from someone people like being around, to someone that no one knew and no one talked to. And that is what kind of started that feeling of emptiness and insecurity that just grew and grew throughout the years. It started with a razor to my wrist, but I remember just doing that to feel something other than that emptiness and that aloneness. And then sometimes I would burn myself either with fire or with like an eraser against my skin, just keep rubbing and rubbing until I bled or until my skin broke. And then I remember I did have thoughts of suicide. I planned things out. I was very close to doing it. And I think one night I was set up and ready to do it. And it was just a very deep, dark, horrendous place that still to this day like scares me and gets me emotional just thinking about it. starting high school, I had a mental breakdown and anxiety attack in one of my classes. They had to call the suicide hotline, and they came in. We had a meeting for hours. I didn't leave until probably 7 o'clock that afternoon. And then the next morning, my counselor told me, hey, we have this elective, it's called Elevate Phoenix, and there was hesitation, but I knew it was something I had to change, something I wanted to help me change. When you join Elevate, you get all the mentors, but my one-on-one, the one I go to, his name's Jay. I remember the first outing we went on, we went to go eat. We were in his car. He was about to drop me off at home after we ate and hung out. And I remember he said his goodbyes, I opened the door, and then I closed the door back. It was that feeling of, I can't hold on to this anymore. I need to share this with you. And so I told him what was going on. I showed him my wrist, the burns I had, the scars I had, and he didn't have to say anything, and he just hugged me. And at that moment, that's all I needed. I didn't need someone to tell me it was okay. I didn't need someone to tell me that we're here for you, everything's gonna be okay. Just a hug. Because I knew what that hug meant, and I knew what it encompassed together. And so because of that, it allowed me to just know that he's serious, he loves me, he's supporting me, and that mentoring experience has just been phenomenal. I remember that Jay was always there, checking up on me, text me, call me, anytime I needed anything, I knew he was there. It takes a different kind of love and commitment to tell someone, we are there for you every day, all day. The last time I harmed myself, I'm proud to say that it's been over 2.5, 3 years. It's been so long that I'm not even counting anymore. And it is something that doesn't go away really. There's still sometimes where like I can feel the darkness come up, but I have that support and that mentality to overcome it now.
Manny, that was absolutely incredible, and just one of the many stories you're going to hear, because Elevate Phoenix does just that. It elevates the kids of Phoenix and brings about so many dreams into reality. So here we are at this live auction portion, but the point of this is my colleague Tamara Dooley is here, and a lot of you know her from when we're actually in person, and she's gonna be typing away because it's not just me like talking at you, it's me talking with you. So I just saw someone give $1,000. I'm gonna shout out to Odell LaRue, because you're watching, Odell. I haven't seen you in ages. Thank you for your support. That's how this happens. I can actually interact with you. I can't quite bid and chant like I normally do, but we can visit our 5 premier items. Remember, we've decided to leave these open all the way through Friday so that anything we're going through in the next couple days, you've got more time to share the show and more time to give. But let's face it, let's talk about this first item. There's 23 different VIPs, 18 celebrities. Tom's got some cool friends. Like I said earlier, you can hop onto a Zoom call with Condoleezza Rice. You can have like private golf lessons. I mean, we've got amazing people that are there, not just Tom, but all kinds. I mean, Jim Nance is there. We have incredible things with Shane Doan, so many, and like Kevin Sorbo, remember? He's an amazing actor. You have a chance at that. So I'm gonna check in right here and see, like, here's a couple. Connie Nass right now is up to $3,500. $3,500. Literally, imagine pre-COVID getting a chance to actually get a call with her. A lot more than $3,500. You got Jim Nance is at $1,500, and my host and friend and former neighbor, Tom Lehman, he's at $2,000. So that gives you an idea of what's going on that item. How about the next ones? Well, thank you so much, Phyllis and Bob. I miss seeing you, but you know what? It's always been a highlight to get a chance to have the opportunity to auction off someone to go to this amazing Coeur d'Alene home. That's right, Lake Coeur d'Alene. Talk about a beautiful environment outdoors for safe social distancing. 5,000 square foot home, 6 nights, 7 days, 4 of you. It's a 3-bedroom house, a king, a queen. One room has bunks, but you just want to concentrate on those 2 rooms. And of course, lots to do, like golf. We're actually going to let you, see, that's live TV. That's going to happen. We're going to let you have foursomes at 3 amazing courses, from the Coeur d'Alene actual private club to the Black Rock where the house is located, and of course, more. But we're also going to give you $2,000 towards your travel. And how about Lake Coeur d'Alene? You need to have half a day on a boat with a captain. We at least have to do that. So we're throwing all that in. So right now, the bid for that one, it's sitting wonderfully at $10,000. That's right. So keep going from there. Well, 2008, I know that sounds like a long time ago and a lot has changed, but the Beijing Olympic team, that's right, the men's basketball, had some of the biggest names in basketball, many of whom would go on to be legends, like Kobe Bryant, God rest his soul, and of course, LeBron James. In fact, 11 men on that team, all of which signed this ball. Of all of those men, they have 18 NBA championships, and they have 18 Olympic golds, and of course, many have gone on and will go on to the Hall of Fame, including this 2021, where they will honor Kobe Bryant. That is actually sitting right now at $10,000. So keep those bids coming in. You have all the way through this Friday. What else is in our premiere? How about my friend, Alfredo Molina? I hope you're watching Alfredo, who's one of the most generous jewelers in the world. A heart of gold, truthfully. 380 years of finery in the most amazing jewels in the world. He's given you a $10,000 shopping spree at Molina Fine Jewels. It's currently sitting at $5,500. A little under half a value, or just about half a value. What else? Well, Tom Lehman is the host of this, so I think we might have something from him. How about 7 of the Tom Lehman designed courses right here in Arizona? 28 rounds of golf, 7 courses. Incredible opportunity for 4 of you. Foursomes all the time in some of the most highlighted, from the Wigwam to Rio Verde to so many. And Verado, too. Have a chance with that? That's sitting at just $1,500 right now. Now that one's got to go way up from there. 28 rounds of golf, some of the most extraordinary courses that Tom has ever designed. So that's what's going on in your life. Now remember, I'm going to be coming back real soon to go through our Fund a Need, and you're going to have all the way through this Friday, November 6th, 5 p.m. Mountain Time, to keep bidding, keep giving, and share that elevate2020.givesmart.com link. But for now, there's a lot of people that are involved in Elevate Phoenix. Let's take a look at our impact video.
I got into education actually because my brother has special needs. I thought it was really important that the work that was done for him, I wanted to be a part of that, and I really wanted to change lives. When I came to Phoenix, all of a sudden I wasn't in a suburbia place in California. I was in an inner city urban environment, which I learned quickly about generational poverty. And you do the studies and you do the research, and you find out that like generational poverty is rampant. And one of the best ways to make it go away is to have a high quality education.
I think the one thing that tends to break my heart is when students aren't given a fair shake, when they're looked at as far as their circumstances, or they're looked at from their neighborhoods or their communities, and they're not looked at for who they are.
When I grew up in high school, I had athletics in my background, and my counselor told my mother that it's a good thing that he's an athlete because I don't think he can make it anywhere else. When someone says that to your mother and you see the look on her face, it makes you determine I am going to be more than what you see in me today. And that's what I see in the kids with Elevate.
I got involved really with Elevate Phoenix because I was so moved by the kids. I've got two kids of my own and a grandchild, and there's a lot of things that we take for granted as we raise our kids. Very simply, when you think about this demographic of kids dropping out of school on average at a 50% rate year after year after year, those kids just are off the grid. They're never going to be successful.
These kids, where they're at, they don't have a lot of hope for the future. And what Elevate does, it gives them opportunity and it gives them hope. And that's, it's an amazing gift to give to these kids.
Mentorship and leadership are very important to these students because of the times in which we live right now. There's a lot of pain, and so the mentorship provides the opportunity to remind them this is just a point in time in history. There's always going to be a better day, but what you do right now is going to define a lot of your future. And when you have a mentor that can remind you, don't focus on the front, focus on the future, they get a comfort level.
This is everything that I want to do. I can affect a kid academically, I can affect a kid socially, emotionally, I can cater to the whole kid. And I feel like it's not just a job for me, it's really a calling.
So our students go in there and they build just these amazing dynamic relationships with the teachers, the mentors from the Elevate Phoenix staff.
Well, these kids, because of that relationship with the mentor teachers and this program and the accountability that comes with it, it's incredibly moving, and that's the reason why I got involved.
We see that kids are not going to prison. We see kids are now no longer following in the footsteps of having to need government assistance. We see kids pouring back in to Elevate Phoenix because of what we did for their lives. They want to go back and make a difference in the kids that were in their own seats.
Well, you can really see some of the results towards the end of the year, or where you see students really start to blossom and they come out of their shell, and they don't beat up on themselves so much. I think a lot of our students are dealing with hurt, and they blame themselves for a lot of that.
So many people have believed in what's happening with Elevate Phoenix that we've been asked to expand via the school districts, the Phoenix Union School District, to be in every high school in the district. That's going to cost money, of course, but it's also going to secure a future. And Elevate Phoenix cannot do it alone.
There's over 5,000 kids right now that count on us. Over 5,000 kids. We're in the midst of a global pandemic. Nobody saw that coming. So what happens? All of a sudden, schools shut down. How are they going to graduate? How are they going to continue to develop? That's really the urgency.
Because when you see who they are, man, you see their potential, you see that they have so much to give. They just need the right doors unlocked to be able to show what their full potential is.
And I'd encourage anybody who's thinking about the future to take a look at Elevate and what they do, because they impact kids' lives. They change them. They change kids' lives.
It is so important to have a community. There's an old saying, no one gets there alone. And that's completely true, living in our society. Because if we're separatists in regards to what we feel, believe, or will not want to interact with each other, how can we learn to grow with each other? But it takes everybody to be involved to make it happen.
I would love for people to continue to give to Elevate Phoenix because we save lives. We save lives, period. There are students that if they didn't have another person alongside, they wouldn't graduate high school. So we're doing everything we can to remove every barrier that is put in front of them so that they can be successful.
I'm motivated by seeing the kids have hope and believe in themselves. Again, anybody that has kids, that's all you want for your kids. You want them to believe in themselves.
I am extremely thankful for all the donors that we have, the educators that come alongside us, the foundations that help support us, because without them, we wouldn't be able to do what we do.
It's a timeless adage saying that it takes a village in order to raise a child. And nothing could be more true than that statement on an urban campus. It takes all entities. It takes family, it takes a quality campus, but it really takes partnership and energy and commitment from those who contribute to these partnerships and give life to ideas about supporting our kids.
And that, my friends, is exactly why we are here tonight. You know, have you ever woke up and just been like, you know what? Did I wake up in another place? I mean, it almost feels like we are in the Twilight Zone. I mean, when birthdays or anniversaries are no longer being celebrated, or even funerals are being put on hold. When it's no longer about, hey, mom, dad, can I come and see you? No, staying away from our parents or grandparents become the act of love, because our hugs and our kisses all of a sudden became a weapon. I mean, think about it. Everything that once felt so certain was no longer certain, and no one has answers. I'm trying to tell you, our life here is so short, but our impact does not have to be. It's not what we can pack inside of our days, but how much impact can we fit within our days? When I think about what our kids are having to go through, all I could do is say up a prayer. All of us has been impacted by COVID-19 in some way or another. I mean, think about it. Even if you didn't test positive, the way you worked has changed. The way you go to school has changed. Even looking for toilet paper all of a sudden became a whole fiasco, right? But like Tom Lehman has said, if you think you have been impacted in any way during this uncertain time of our lives, can you imagine what our Elevate Phoenix kids are going through right now? I mean, think about it. Really, what are they missing out on? I know one thing I'm missing out on is seeing all their smiles. I mean, right now, everybody's just wearing face masks. Our kids are no longer able to go to school and teach their elementary school kiddos what they're being taught, and all the lessons that they got to learn, they can no longer share. They're too busy even wondering if they're going to go back to school. We are not even able to go back to school until at least January. And our kids have already been out since March. And that's why we need you. Our kids do not have the luxury of trying to figure out where to go find a device, and maybe do they have access to the internet. And really, they're trying to think about, is there going to be food at home? Because most of our kids, they live in single-family households where their mom or maybe their dad, or what about if they're living with their grandparent that doesn't have the luxury of working from home. So now our students and their siblings are surviving COVID-19 by themselves. That's why it's such an honor that Elevate Phoenix was able to step up. Is because what we do, we stepped up and we stayed on the front line with them. We made sure that we stayed in a class with them. We reached out to them 24 hours a day, 7 days a week, made sure that they had a laptop, made sure that they were able to get connectivity, made sure that they even had gift cards so they could not have to worry about having something to eat. It's because it's what we do. We're there for our kids. You know, we have to sit back and really think about our own lives and enjoy it. Why? Because we have one. That's not the same for all. Let me tell you a really quick story about one of my alumni kids. I had a young lady, she graduated, and she was a first generational high school grad. And she was so excited because she brought up her GPA to a 4.0 during our college rise program at South Mountain. Yeah, see, now this is where it happens. We're live, right? South Mountain Community College. And she could not be more ecstatic. She wanted to be like a social worker. No, it was a dentist, because she said she loved seeing people smile. Well, unfortunately for our student, this last summer, there were no smiles. This last summer, her entire family contracted COVID-19. Her 2 sisters, and her mom and dad. Now, while everybody was going ahead and getting quarantined, getting a little bit better, all but one was getting worse. And that's right, it was her dad. Her dad ended up in the hospital all alone. And no one was able to go and even visit him. Now, I wish I could tell you that this story had a happy ending, and unfortunately, it does not. Our student lost her father due to COVID-19, and she's never even been to a funeral before. Can you imagine losing your father and not even getting a chance to say goodbye? They couldn't even bury him right away. But our student, she sacrificed and she stepped up. She had to put school on hold for a moment and work 2 jobs while their entire family is still trying to figure out what's happening. So what we need to do with her right now is do the same. It's time for us to step up and sacrifice for her, for all of our kids. We have 5,000 of these students. You know, Gandhi said it best. We have to be the change we wish to see. So no matter whether you're giving through a donation or a pledge or even bidding on some of these auction items, every single dollar helps make a difference in the lives of our kids. You probably heard us say that we have our hope holders, and it's because it's true, because we choose to be the hope holders for our kids until they could hold that hope for themselves. And it's people like our superintendent or our teachers or even our corporate partners like the Carlisle or Shasta or even the Lotco companies. We have to make a difference because this is it. And we cannot do this without you. And I could tell you stories for days, but how better to express the impact that Elevate's making than to hear it from our students. I'd like you to listen to a story from one of our students from Cesar Chavez High School. Camille will tell you exactly how Elevate Phoenix has impacted her. Let's watch.
At the age of 6, and I was home with my sisters, and my mom was at work, and bullets started flying through the house, and a drive-by had occurred, and
there was just bullets all over the front of the house. Walk up to the front door, I can hear them screaming, and I'm knocking on the door because I'm fumbling with my keys. I can't get my keys in the door but after seeing what I see, I just wanted her to be alive.
me and my sister both got hit. She got hit in the back and instantly killed her. I got rushed to the hospital, and I had to have like a good chunk of my brain taken out. I had to start over, learn how to rewrite with my left. I had to learn how to feed myself and walk again. I didn't think nothing of it about how I would be so different compared to other people. We just went to school, and then I would get bullied and because of my appearance and how I looked and how I walked a little different. A lot of people would ask me about my scar when it would show, or like, why do I walk like that? Or how come your hand looks a little smaller? And I think with the bullying, I didn't know how to express myself or present myself. I would come home and I would cry. I would cry and I would cry by myself. I wouldn't let my mom watch me cry or see me cry. I started to cut myself. I don't have to worry about the pain of bullying. I have to focus on the pain on my arm.
I found out Camille was hurting herself through the school. The principal called me and told me that they found her in the bathroom with a dirty razor blade and that she was, cutting herself.
I would get the sharpeners and take out the blades, and I would get the blades and go to the restrooms at the school. My depression felt like I was surrounded around thousands of people, but still feel alone. I felt like it shouldn't have been me that survived. It should have been my sister, my older sister. Went to my counselor and I told her, hey, I don't think Sister Chavez is working out for me, and I think I'm gonna drop out. And she gave me kind of like the last resort, which was Elevate. And with Elevate, I just instantly felt welcomed and accepted.
First met her, she was really a hard kid. She would act out in class. I pulled her outside and just wanting to know what was happening. And so she shared her story, and through that, I knew instantly, that is why this girl is acting out. When it comes to Camille and so many other kids, they don't have people to walk alongside them. And what I love about Elevate Phoenix is we do life with kids. So we're not just teachers. We don't just see them for 1 hour of the day and don't see them again. We get to do life. If it wasn't for programs like ours, having someone to walk alongside you, so many kids just don't get noticed.
Miss Amanda and Mr. G, they called me. They got themselves involved, in which they were like angels were sent to me, you know, because they pulled her out of that slump that I could not pull her out of, you know, and I wanted to because that's my daughter. But they really did something, and it was just so, like, amazing. It was like almost birth. Like, my daughter came back.
They helped me find myself, find a purpose in life and a goal that I need to accomplish. Amanda, she's amazing. She is the type of person that pushes you to your limits and pushes you in a good way and pushes you to be successful. Man, I think without Elevate, I probably would have been dropped out. I probably would have stayed dropped out. I'm thankful for everyone that's walked in and out of my life. I'm thankful for the life that I have now. And I'm thankful for every person that stepped with me. And I'm truly thankful to be alive.
And that is Camille's story, just like Manny, another successful story through Elevate Phoenix. So I'm back, it's Letitia Fry, and this is the part where we'll do a Fund a Need. It's a 100% tax-deductible gift. Some people have donated before this night, and some are actively doing it right now. In fact, one couple I'd like to shout out to now, the Woodenbergs. Dana and Kelly, thank you so much. They just gave $25,000. That's right here, right now, live streaming with you. The Woodenbergs donated $25,000, and thank you for that. So those of you that may know me from Inside Ballrooms know that I volunteer for all of my clients and research, and that certainly hasn't changed in COVID. And I've loved hearing from Jazmine the many pivots as these children are not in school, but Elevate's gone to them. So it's also my job to help explain to you what we do when the school's doors do open back up. So what would $25,000 do? Well, there are 5,000 children, as you've seen before and heard on the many videos. That's 3 elementary schools, 3 high schools, and some middle school students as well. $2.1 million annually operated, and actually over 84 classes that are conducted each school year. So one of those classes with the mentorship and the teachers for $25,000 could actually be sponsored here tonight. And that's what the Woodenbergs just did right now. So here's the thing I want to tell you about what makes Elevate Phoenix different, because there's a few things that do. But one thing that really caught my eye from the beginning. See, identifying the kids, as our superintendent told you, you identify the kids that are not going to graduate. Those are the kids that are falling through the cracks, and we actually help them not just through education, economically, spiritually, physically, being there. And so what else happens? It's not just signing up for some sort of after-school program. This is a credit. That's right. Our elementary schools can start all the way and leading up to it, but when you're in high school, you can have all 8 semesters get a credit for this course. And that's part of the Elevate Phoenix difference. Now, there's a screen over here to my left, and if I look at it, it tells me who else gave. And I want to shout out Mike Tope, $40,000. Thank you for that. In addition to that, the Gawley Plastic Surgery, Dr. Brian and Heather St. Peter, love you both, $25,000. Thank you for that. And of course, we're going to keep going, but I want to kind of tell you again, what is the difference? Because I don't use cue cards, I don't use teleprompters. This is just me telling you what happens. So what does make Elevate Phoenix so incredibly different? I work with a lot of nonprofits, and one of the most common denominators to keep people in poverty and throughout success and stop them from that is literacy. And for many of our kids, it's about meeting them where they are. So we have a literacy program that's actually digital. And what it does is it meets the kid where they are with 6,000 books. It's called MyOn. And they actually get a chance not only for the elementary schools to have all access, but so do their parents, their whole family, which for many are struggling with it as well. And so actually with our kids, when they finish an actual book of the 6,000 books in different languages, different skill levels, they get a quiz that's generated. Why? Because it helps us know as a thermometer, where are they at? How can we help them most? See, it's tailored. It's not just, hey, we're gonna do this what's right for you. It's about seeing the child, all of the child, and helping them where they need it most. So at this level, which is $10,000, Bill and Mary Kostrivius, thank you so much. They've given $10,000. And of course, Ray Barton of Great Clips, he actually gave $15,000. And even before that, even more back up at that 25, my mentor and dear friends, Foster Fries and my beloved friend, Lynn Fries, thank you so much for that. So let's keep talking a little bit more about what your money does. You know, Jazmine let you know that there's been some enormous pivots to make sure that these kids are not actually falling through those cracks that we've identified in a normal year. In fact, I would probably tell you, with all the work I've done on the front lines over many years, 16 years in this industry, that what we're feeling right now, emotionally, financially, spiritually, and stress levels, is what these kids experience every day. No pandemic needed. And now with the pandemic, things have become even more uncertain. So with $5,000, it's 200 hours of tutoring. We're still able to do that through Zooms and through different areas. See, one of the most actual frustrating things is a lot of these kids don't even have the internet, but we're on that. We're making sure that they have different hotspots, areas to go. How can we safely get them to do their work so they can continue to succeed? So $5,000 is 200 hours of tutoring, and it's not just about literacy. It's science, technology, engineering, math. It's writing. It's everything that it's going to take to the child to actually build their confidence back up on the education level. But we meet them far more than that. Remember, earlier Chad told you, our superintendent, identifying those kids that are already going to be in trouble, they're going to slip through, not graduate. We can start as early as first grade, have a relationship with them all the way up, have them go back and mentor back through and continue on to success, just like you heard Manny and just like you heard Camille. So $5,000, we have Uncle Tony's from Tony Criscione. That's so fantastic. $5,000 has come in. Anthony Montgomery from Morgan Stanley is also in at $5,000, and we have so many more. That's $10,000, not $5, they just gave $10,000. Unbelievable. We also have some more coming through here. We have, tomorrow, why don't you go ahead and flip that up for me? We're actually doing this live, so as she lives, the Tarabi family is given, and Michelle and Joanna Peebles, they've actually both, is that Michael and Joanna, or there we go. Hey, Mark Candelaria Design, you and Isabel, thank you so much. Some of the most generous members of our society are giving here tonight, but no denomination is too great or too small. So a little bit more about what your money does. So what does 2,500 do? You heard something called RISE. That's basically a summer program. It's 5 weeks long, but it's a little bit more than you think. It's preparing our kids that will go on to secondary education, whether that's in community college, four-year college, trade school. Are they going to go to the military or join the workforce? Any and all of that. But if they are headed to college, guess what? That actual summer program is good for 6 college credits. That's right. That 5-week program costs $45,000, and $2,500 would put 2 students through that course. It gives them the food, supplies, bus passes to get to and from there, and of course, 6 college credits. That's a big savings for kids that are moving into that secondary education. That's $2,500. And a lot of bids that are coming in right now. But there's a lot of numbers I'm going to tell you and a difference that you're making, because it's really all about the impact that Jazmine mentioned earlier. These kids are actually already facing so many odds, but through the pandemic, a lot of them are facing far more than just that. And sometimes it's just knowing that someone's there for you. I know I myself have experienced it. My own kids have experienced it. It's about being there for each other. So what about $1,000? Well, that's our middle schoolers. It's called MVP because that's what they are. That's that area where whether we've gotten them all the way up and into middle school, what about prepping them for some of the fears that are going through to actually put them into high school? Well, this is where we employ and actually activate our teachers from our Elevate program. See, we actually use the students for something different, but the teachers will go to the middle schoolers and actually start helping them prep, because by the time they're leaving 8th grade, that's pretty much your incoming freshman class, and we already have them supported and on their feet. So let's take a look at some of our $1,000 givers. We have Mitch and Rona Rubin, thank you so much. Fred and Patty Green, and the Caldwell Company is also given $1,000. Ken and Randy Kendrick. I love the Kendricks. Thank you so much for that. There's so many people that are giving here tonight. It's incredible. And a lot of people are giving at $10,000, some at $25,000, some at $40,000, some at $1,000. And every denomination counts because every kid counts. So what else? The next level is probably the most impactful level you could do here tonight. Whether you've given it a higher denomination or whether this might be the sweet spot for you, it is the most important level. It's $429. $429. That would take one child, an entire school year completely supported. Mentorship, supplies, food, the t-shirt. And did you notice that on Camille? It means a lot. They wear them with pride. So that's $429. You're going to get a text to give at this option right now because this is the most impactful. If we were to have that happen and 1,000 of you did that, well, that adds up. So remember, even if you've given at another denomination, $429, this is the most impactful. Would you sponsor a child? Would you sponsor a child when we know that the classrooms will open back up, that we've actually taken care of them during the pandemic when they were closed, and know that they were supported as they re-enter in full steam to elevate not just those kids, but all of us through Elevate Phoenix. So what else are we talking about? Well, I told you about how the teachers go to the middle schoolers. Do you know that $250, it helps us bus 35 of our high school students that are going down to the little kiddos? That's right. They go actually take all the curriculum they're learning, and they go down to the 1st, 2nd, 3rd, 4th, 5th graders, and they actually teach there. They get bused over once a week. That's what this program is about. It's not just engaging the child where they are, it's also helping the child to understand the importance of doing that for another. You elevate yourself and you bring someone with you. That's the way and the difference of Elevate Phoenix. I've watched over the years, and I've watched Tom and Melissa support many charities, and when they took this pivot directly into Elevate Phoenix, I went straight down many years ago to find out why. And I sat through their classes. I met the kids. And I met Jazmine, who's probably one of the most passionate people in this program I've ever met. Incredible board members, incredible community. And of course, this would be our 4th annual invitational. And believe me, we'll be back next year with more. But the fact that all of you have stood together by these kids through this, it's going to show them more now than ever. More now than ever that they are not alone, thanks to you. So we have a $100 level, a $50 level, and you can customize even more than that. So let's actually go back and see a couple other people that'll keep giving, because you're coming in live right now. And as you watch us, well, remember this. While we're actually going to end this show tonight, it's going to stay here. So if you actually text some friends and family from now all the way through Friday, and you send them elevate2020.givesmart.com, they get to watch this. It's going to be sitting here. So if you're watching this after this broadcast, thank you. Thank you for joining us and for giving. And remember, when I'm done with this, we're going to give something away. So here's what I told you earlier. Just for coming on here, I'm going to give away the fact that 30 years ago, the Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles were actually, well, born into our society, and they're digitized and back. So those 4 tickets, well, here's your winner. None other than going right here. Will you gals actually bring up the winner of my actual giveaway for me right now? I think it was Sandy. I'm pretty sure that's what I saw. It's Sandy Davidson. And by the way, I know your grandson Max is actually going to love that. So just so you know, we have more giveaways. And as you continue to give through the week, you're actually going to have a chance just for hashtag. That's right. Whether you went on our Instagram or our Facebook, you can win a foursome at where we hold the Invitational Phoenix Country Club, or all the way on Friday. We're going to go live on Facebook at 5 o'clock Mountain Time on Friday, November 6th, and give away a foursome at the Biltmore just for giving. So now that you've heard a lot about who's donating, a way to share it, and more to support them, here's the biggest thing. It's time now to find out some of our greatest supporters. It's time to hear about the Hope Holders Award.
At Elevate Phoenix, there's a concept of people who make a huge difference. We call them hope holders. Bob, why don't you kind of describe maybe what a hope holder really is?
The hope holder is someone who holds the hope for our students, because most of our students are without hope. So they hold the hope until the student is able to hold the hope on his own.
Yeah, and that's a really big deal, because so many of the kids, as we all know and we've heard over these 10 years, come from backgrounds where there's seemingly no hope for the future. You know, so Elevate steps in and provides that kind of hope. And so we've honored, you know, the people who have been significant in Elevate with a Hope Holder Award. And usually it's somebody who's really stepped forward in a big way, like the Carlock Companies and Chris Koch a couple of years ago. And so, you know, in each year we give that award away. And so it's a significant award to somebody who's done something significant. And so this year, you know, we thought about, well, who can we give it to this year? And we have some really great sponsors who have stepped forward in a huge way and done so many things and have kind of given us this unlimited upside potential. And while they are very deserving, and I'm sure that in the future they will get that award, I think the 2 people who have made the biggest difference in Elevate over the years, they're the 2 people who got this whole thing started. And so it's the 2 of you. And so I'm really proud and honored to give you guys our Hope Holders Award, because you guys truly deserve it.
Oh, how sweet.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Yeah.
It's really an honor. Thank you
Yeah.
very much. This is unexpected and overwhelming. Thank you.
Thank you.
Well, there would be no Elevate without the 2 of you. And so your vision and the impact on the kids that we're serving is immeasurable. And you may never ever get truly your award here on earth, but in heaven, it'll be more than bountiful. So anyway, congratulations.
Thank you. Thank you. Thank you.
Well, to Bob and Phyllis, that was really a special moment. I was so honored to be able to give that award to you on behalf of all of Elevate. There would be no program without you. There would be no kids to be serving without the vision that you had, the both of you. So we're very grateful. You've been great leaders. You've kind of helped create a program which is worth investing in. I mean, there would be no Woondenberg family giving like they've been so generously giving if it weren't for what you started. So to the Woondenbergs, thank you so much for stepping forward, along with everybody else, to you make such a big difference. because it does make a big difference. You know, this is our 4th event now, and there's so many highlights, and I think the 2 words that keep on popping up every year throughout every program, and really 365 days a year in the lives of these kids are the 2 words of hope and belief. It's very hard to hope when you feel like you have no hope. It's very hard to believe when you feel like there's nothing to believe in. Where is my future going to go? There's so many uncertainties that Jazmine mentioned about. And so hope and belief, that's what Elevate works so hard to give. And over the last 4 years, there was one guy in particular who was part of our program 3 years ago who really grasped the idea of hope and belief, because his story is one of hope and belief and overcoming a lack of hope and belief. And it's my dear friend Jonathan Kane from the band Journey. So rather than me tell you about it, let's let Jonathan tell you about it.
Hey there, Elevate Phoenix. It's Jonathan Kane from Journey here. How you doing? You know, it's my friend Tom Lehman asked me if I'd tell a story about my father and a sort of famous song that we wrote as Journey. And so I thought I'd retell the story, but I want to start out, first of all, I was in a terrible school fire when I was 8 years old. And about 100 kids died. 3 nuns. We were all devastated that day. My father saw that. He wanted to shift me somewhere else. So he gave me the gift of music. Took me to music school, where I studied accordion and then eventually piano. My father would say to all his friends, you know, John, he's going to be famous and play for 10,000 people a night. And I just blush and say, Dad, I received that, thank you. Well, it didn't go the way Dad had planned. When I moved to Hollywood, there was some rough times. And so I called my father for a loan in Chicago. I said, Dad, you think I should just give up this dream of music and come home? He said, son, I've always been your vision keeper. Don't stop believing. You just stay the course. 5 years later, a band called Journey asked me to join them, and they needed another song to complete the Escape album. I looked at my notebook and saw my father's words, don't stop believing. And I thought to myself, Steve Perry would sing that. Long story short, it became a hit. We sold platinum. Our album went to #1 because of that song. And we ended up in the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame. And I owe a lot of gratitude to my father for giving me those 3 words. And I'm going to share with you tonight. Don't ever stop believing. When it seems like it's the darkest times, the Lord has something else for you. He did for me, and He will for you. So this little song ended up in a lot of places. I think you recognize it. It goes like this. Just a small town living in a lonely world. Ooh, she took the midnight train going anywhere. Just a city boy.
absolutely one of my favorite songs ever, and the year you had him, he was incredible.
Amazing, amazing.
So here we are coming towards the end of our program, and I have a couple of things. You know, Dana and Kelly Woodenberg, they're out there. They gave another $10,000, which brings them to $35,000 live giving here tonight. Thank you both for that. And of course, the Rossies, Mike and Barb, they just gave $5,000 right now. Thank you for that. There's so many of you out that are giving, and I have a special announcement actually to make with someone that's anonymous. But before I do that, I have something to give away. That foursome of golf at the Phoenix Country Club, where the Invitational is held, goes to one of my favorite ladies in the world. It goes to Phyllis Barbie for her watch party there tonight. So the Barbies, kudos to you. Thank you for having that. And Phyllis, 4, that's yours. So here's another thing. We have an anonymous donor that has actually let us know here tonight that they're donating $100,000. That's right, $100,000. Which brings me to the point that so many of you, despite where we are in this challenges, have stood up in so many ways. And even if you're not able to give tonight and you simply were able to watch, learn more about Elevate, share that, and even share this link, elevate2020.givesmart.com, over the next 5 days, well, that too is giving. So that's my point of here tonight. I'm Letitia Fry. I'm going to toss it over to my good friend, Tom Lehman, so he can kind of wrap us up. But again, thanks for being a part of Elevate.
Well, first of all, Letitia, thank you.
Oh, my pleasure.
It's an emotional program, this program, because it changes kids' lives. And I always get this way, so I'm going to try to pull it together, so I will. But I want you to know that your professionalism and your deep care for these kids and being a part of this is so appreciated. So thank you.
Thank you very much.
Thank you. But it does. It just happens every time. I see a story. I see Camille's story. I see Manny's story. There's so many stories. Eduardo's story. Eduardo carried a gun starting at age 12. Joined a gang at age 10. Decided to get out of the gang and said he'd rather die by getting out of the gang than go on living like that, all because of the influence of Elevate Phoenix. Anytime you see a kid willing to give up his life to live a life worth living because of the influence of great people around him, you know that this program is something special. So to all the Eduardos out there, this is why we do it. This is why we do this. This is why we invest the money. And you know, tonight so far we've raised $482,000. And it's not over. We have until Friday. And I just think that's simply amazing. It's simply sensational. But you just need to know that when you invest in Elevate Phoenix, you're investing in Amanda, Dalila, all the Jazmine, all of our mentors and teachers who invest their lives completely in these kids. And I think here's what makes the program work. And you heard it once already. But when you think about people who make a difference, they make a difference because they are sold out, because they are committed completely. They own what they're doing 100%. And so what I've heard from every one of our teacher mentors over the years is this. They know that this is their calling on their life. And because it's their calling, they give their whole life to it. And this is why I support it. This is why I believe in it, because our teacher mentors love these kids so much that they're willing to do anything to see them succeed. So anyway, thank you so much for being a part of our evening. Thank you so much for supporting Elevate Phoenix. We have so many loyal, true partners and teammates in this. We couldn't do it without all of us doing it together. So thank you. God bless you. God bless these kids. God bless our country. Good night.
Well